Fanalysis uses the analytics of fantasy football combined with the metrics of sports betting to find you the sharpest angle. Sports investment analyst Jared Smith from Sports Grid is here to find all of those angles. And Jared, I want to start off with this Jets, a whopping 20.5 point dog. This is the 10th biggest spread in NFL history. And by the way, the favorite has only covered in 3 of those other times. Is this going to be different?
I'll be honest. I hate to say it, but I kind of like the Jets this week.
You're going to do it. You're going to do it.
Well, I said last week, I'm not backing this Jets team until they prove to me that they can cover a number. Well, for better or for worse, despite the fact that Buffalo kicked 100 field goals, they covered a number last week against the Bills. So I have to back that trend. Now, when you look at this game analytically, Steve, and it doesn't, it makes perfect sense. When you talk about a team that's 20-point underdogs, they're going to have a ton of warts when you dive deep into those numbers.
I'm just wondering whether or not you went to the top shelf to get some Hennessy or something here before you made this. Okay,
I'm totally sober. Totally sober.
There's actual metrics that will back this up.
There's no the metric is what you just said. The teams that really are big favorites, they don't historically cover these numbers. Now I'll throw this one fly in the ointment. There is a bit of a revenge game, storyline brewing here with the Le'Veon Bell situation. But the analytics do say that the Jets are clearly one of the worst football teams, if not the worst football team in the NFL. Chiefs are one of the best. But again, we saw this line open at 20.5, 21, and all the money, of course, is coming on Kansas City, who would back the Jets, but the line has now dipped to 20, and I've seen it under 20 in a couple of spots. So for some reason, for the second week in a row, the Sharps are backing the Jets. Who am I after they finally covered a number to disagree with them?
And that's just it. First off, if you do want to look into the numbers, the Chiefs have actually covered on all but one of their games. The Jets have not covered on all but one of their games.
It looks ugly. It's ugly. It's ugly. And I ain't saying it's my best pick I've ever made.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You're not actually suggesting somebody go money line for Jets on this game.
No. Now that would be the Hennessy, the whatever, the top shelf stuff right there. I think that would be a bridge too far.
Okay, all right. Well, clearly, there are some reasons that you'd like to go the Jets on this, but it's only the big number. What would the number have to drop to where you say, okay, conventional wisdom has to take advantage here?
I think where it was last week. I think between 14 and 17 is kind of the make you think spot with the Jets when they're facing a good football team. Anything north of 17, really, if you think about it, an NFL game it's not like a college spread where there's a lot more stoppages. The clock stops every first down. An NFL game, you only have to hold the Chiefs to a field goal maybe once or twice in the red zone, and you're going to cover that number because you just don't get that many possessions in an NFL game. And I don't think the Chiefs are one of those teams that are just going to want to put the pedal down and go nuts. They're also dealing with some injuries as well, especially on offense. But again, the Le'Veon Bell factor changes it a little bit.
Yeah.
I could see how about a Jets first or a Chiefs first half bet? The Jets are one of the worst first half teams in football. I saw that statistic there, a point differential of minus 11.5.
Wow.
So maybe that's the way you go. You chop the number in half for Chiefs first half. Okay. And then you don't have to worry about the full game spread, and maybe the Jets do end up covering.
You're a little sneaky there.
Change it up.
Tampa is a 12.5 point favorite against the Giants. The Giants are one of the latest teams to be hit by COVID. Do you think that that's going to play a role at all in where the sharp money lands in this?
100%. We saw this line move a lot during this week. We were doing a live show on Thursday on the morning after on Sports Grid, and all of a sudden the news came out and bang, this line went from 10, 11, 12. It even touched 13. We talked about it last week, Steve. Tampa Bay was going to Vegas. Vegas was having similar issues. How lucky is Tampa Bay? They get this twice in a row against them. The offensive line is the one unit you need to be intact when you're facing this Bucs team, which is the top-rated defense in the league. They are, I think, the best top to bottom defense in the league with our old friend Todd Bowles running the show. You don't want to have your offensive line, even if they are all playing, you want to make sure they're all on the same page, practicing, understanding the game plan. Very difficult situation for the Bucs this week. Offense starting to click as well. We're seeing Tom Brady, the most accurate passer on downfield throws this year. And that narrative is really starting to come to life with the weapons that he now has. Gronk's starting to play well. We know about Antonio Brown, not this week, But next week, a lot of momentum with this Bucs team. And again, they get the advantage of facing a team that's at a disadvantage because of the COVID.
Yeah. And it's not like they have Saquon Barkley that they can hand the ball off to and turn this into a ground game and keep the Bucs offense off the field.
Yeah, and I think if you can bet a prop Daniel Jones to throw an interception or Daniel Jones to turn the ball over on Monday night, I think that's a good prop to bet. It's just and that is
that a prop every week, because that could be a prop you take every week.
Well, and that's sad because I feel like as a rookie quarterback, he didn't address that, and you think that's the step. That's the natural progression in year 2. We're going to address that. We're going to be better holding on to the football. That hasn't been the case this year, and now he's facing a defense with a banged-up offensive line, or at least a disjointed offensive line because of the isolation and the protocols they have to go through. And now you throw him into that mix against the top-ranked defense in the league. I think it's going to be a long night for Daniel Jones.
We've been hearing for the past year, Daniel Jones, he turns the ball over. That's all right. We'll clean it up. Ball security, we'll clean it up. Well, how come it hasn't been cleaned up yet? It's been such a major concern for them, and it continues to be their Achilles heel week in and week out. All right. Jared, thank you so much for your insights on both the Jets and the Giants. Make sure that you catch out his full report on the top plays of the week. For Jared Smith, I'm Steve Overmyer. This is Fanalysis.